In this video, what I'm going to be talking to you about is how I price my SMMA services and what's worked really well for me on that front. And hopefully you can get some insights as to how you could potentially price yours so that you can actually create a business that you love and enjoy. Now, how you price your services is one of the biggest levers that you have within your business that's going to dictate whether you end up hating your business and whether you end up loving your business. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of agencies out there that are working with a bunch of headache clients. They're paying you like $1,000 a month. They're not really worth the time, but they just create a lot of complexity within your operations and they make you hate your business. You do not want to be running a business like that. So I'm going to talk about how I price my services so I don't create a business that is like that. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Shay Detheri and I'm the co-founder of AcquisitionGrowthPartner.com, and we help establish marketing agencies at an additional $60,000 to $120,000 a month within 6 to 12 months using our AI acquisition system. Now, there are two ways that most people end up pricing their services, and I'm going to go over that now. So the first way, which is most typical, is that you look at the competition. You look at company 1, company 2, and company 3. You're like, okay, this person charges $2,000, this person charges $3,000, this person charges $4,000. Well, I'm going to offer something that's similar to them. I want to be competitively priced, so okay, maybe I'll pick the middle ground. I'm going to charge $3,000. And what ends up happening after that is it becomes a race to the bottom. Because there's going to be other people that enter the market is they're not going to want to be competitively priced. They're going to want to be a little bit cheaper because everyone's offering a similar thing. So the only way that you're going to stand out because everyone's doing the same thing rather than pricing yourself the same, or instead of like offering more value so you can charge what you're worth, people start offering something similar for cheaper. And then that's when it starts becoming commoditized. So you're offering it for $2,000, another person comes into the market, does what you're offering, but does it for $1,800, then does it for $1,600. And then that's when you hop on sales calls and then you're speaking to a prospect and then you tell them your price and you tell them what you do for that price. And they're like, oh, well, I did this a month ago, or I spoke with so-and-so company and they did this for $1,500, which is $500 cheaper than what you're doing it. And then that ends up being your position in the market. And then what happens on top of that is because you end up becoming commoditized, you can't charge what you're worth, meaning that you have less profits in the business. And because you have less profits, you can't hire the talent that you're looking for. You can't hire that A-team talent with people that are from the US. You have to look externally. So you have to start looking at places like the Philippines, maybe places like South Africa, places where the US dollar stretches a lot further or your currency stretches a lot further. So it becomes full circle that you're not just getting affected by how much money you're making, but it affects like the type of people that you can actually hire. And the only way that you end up being able to scale is by getting a volume of clients, because you're commoditized now, you're offering something similar, and then now you're going to have to scale with 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 clients, all paying you low ticket amounts. And that when it becomes a headache, because at that scale, you need a lot of people that are actually within your team to actually run an operation like that. But as you start to scale and you sign more clients, your profits become less and less as you scale too, which just means that you're going to have a massive headache. Or the other way that people price themselves is that they have a fixed rate. So they might have a goal in mind, like, okay, I want to make $20,000 per month. Okay, well, if I charge $2,000 a month, I can get there with 10 clients. Cool. Well, my pricing is now $2,000 per month. Well, what happens if you make them $100,000 a month and you're only charging $2,000? That's a 50x return. Do you really think that's fair on your end, your side of the deal, that if you're only charging $2,000 a month and they're making $100,000? Well, not really. So what you want to do is you want to have dynamic pricing. You want to price yourself based on the project at hand. And what I like to call it is value-based pricing. And this is where you make projections based off of your current client results and also industry averages if you don't have current client results. This is also why it's important to work with companies similar to your case studies, because then you're just replicating a proven model rather than having to figure out everything from scratch. So let's say, for example, there are 100,000 people to target, and based on your averages, you have a 3% meeting booked rate. Well, then based off of the people that you have to target, that would mean that you generate 300 meetings. And then also, let's say you have a certain show up rate, that would mean 250 people show up from the 300 meetings that you book. And then also look at the close rate. Okay, well, this person has a 20% close rate. Well, then based on the 250 people that actually show up, that'll mean you generate 50 new clients. And let's say to this particular person that the value of a client per month is $4,000. and the average retention per client is 6 months. So then all up, that'd be $24,000. And then projected revenue over the 50 clients would be $1.2 million in projected revenue based on lifetime value, based on the numbers that they've given you, and also based on numbers from your industry averages and your client results. So then very confidently, if you're projecting to make them a $1.2 million over the next 12 months, well, you can confidently say to them, okay, we're going to charge $10,000 or $15,000 a month, because that's only 10 to 15% of the value that you're providing. And then if you get pushback on them saying, well, how do I know that you're actually going to help me make this? Like, how do I know that these numbers are real? So that's why you want to use realistic numbers, and you want to pull from your actual data. And then if you don't have your own data, look at industry averages, and you want to make sure that you're very realistic. So don't pick the highest number. Let's say the actual number is like 5%, like the industry average is like a 5% meeting booked rate, and then like a 40% average close rate. You'd want to put those in half, so that you're just setting a super realistic scenario, because the last thing you want to do is do what most agencies do, which is overpromise and underdeliver. You don't want that positioning. You want to underpromise and then overdeliver. And the way you set that expectation that you're actually going to do that, or the way you make sure that you do that, is by setting a super realistic scenario by halving those industry averages if you don't already have client results. Now, another way or another bonus that you can add to make your pricing more attractive and make it not seem like much. So let's say, for example, you're picking the pricing option. Okay, we're going to help you make it $1.2 million. And for that, we're going to charge you $10,000 a month. Now, when you say that to them, that might seem like a lot of money to them. So what you can also do is anchor that price towards something else. And what you can anchor it towards is the value stack. So the overall value of what you're going to be delivering, or compare it to the cost of internal employees. So let's say, for example, if you were to deliver your service and they were to hire someone internally, they'd need like a CMO or head of sales and so forth. Well, what you want to do is, based on industry averages, like the industry average of salary, let's say, for example, a head of marketing was like $10,000 a month, and then a head of sales was like $8,000 a month. Well, when you anchor it, so say, for example, you're charging $10,000 a month, but if you were to hire someone, it would cost you $18,000 a month. When you anchor your $10,000 towards what it would cost them to hire internally, the $10,000 doesn't seem like much at all. Or the alternative of what you can do is look at everything that you're delivering and then assign a value to it. And what you want to do with these numbers is, you don't want to be making up any of these numbers. You want to pull from industry averages. So you want to use real statistics, because where people go wrong with this is they start putting unrealistic values. So say, for example, they might put like a value of, okay, if you're going to get a head of sales, it's going to cost you $1 million per year. When everyone knows that a head of sales isn't going to cost you $1 million per year, maybe the very best in the world, but based on the average, you want to be pulling from averages. So that wouldn't be a realistic scenario. So you want to make sure that these numbers are aligned with reality. Now, if you got any value from this video at all, or maybe just genuinely enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and click the like button below, because the YouTube algo is smart. If you like this video, it's going to serve you other videos just like it, and you're going to have a homepage and recommended page of videos that you actually enjoy. Now, if you run an established marketing agency that's doing at least $25,000 per month and you have happy clients, and you want help adding an additional $60,000 to $120,000 a month over the next 6 to 12 months, click the first link that's in the description to apply to work with us. Now, you're not obliged to at all. The main thing is that you watch these videos, you get value from it, and you actually get some results from some of the teachings. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll see you later.